I'm Camila Walker, 31 years old, living and working in Denver, Colorado. I'm a financial analyst, and I spent nearly 10 years grinding to save up $72,000, the money I planned to use as a down payment for my first home. Everything was lined up, loan approved, contract emailed. I was one step away from the dream I'd had since college. Then I saw it. A red Maserati parked in my parents' driveway, gleaming like it had just rolled out of a showroom. My younger sister, Bella, was standing next to it, latte in hand, smiling like she was filming a luxury car commercial. I hit the brakes, heart pounding in my chest. I stepped out of my beat-up Toyota Corolla, the same one I'd driven since my first job. Still wearing my wrinkled office clothes after a 13-hour shift. Bella turned, her bright blue eyes sparkling. "Isn't it sick? I got such a deal. The salesman practically gave it away." I tried to keep my voice steady. "Where did you get the money, Bella?" She shrugged, like it was nothing. "Me, Dad and Mom talked it over. Mom said you had that emergency fund. And I really needed a car." I turned toward the front door. My parents stood there, wine glasses in hand. My mom, Lorraine, tried to offer a calm smile. "Teresa." "Camila, don't overreact. Your sister needs reliable transportation for her job interviews. You're in a better place financially, you understand, right?" My ears rang. That was my house down payment, my entire savings from the past 8 years. My dad, Howard, stepped forward, avoiding my eyes. "You're young, you'll save it again. Bella needs to restart her life." By driving a Maserati to a part-time interview at a coffee shop? Bella's eyes filled with tears, right on cue. "Are you attacking me? You always act like I'm the burden." "Not always, just since you were 17 and haven't held a job for more than 6 months. You dropped out of college, burned through money like firewood, and now you've stolen my dream." My mother jumped in, voice pleading. "Camila, don't be like this. You've always been the mature one, the backbone of this family. You're strong. We still need you." I clenched my phone so tightly my hand went numb. I opened my banking app. Balance: $46.17. I turned the screen toward them. "This is all that's left. No one told me. No one asked. You drained my account." Bella glanced, then let out a bitter laugh. "You act like you're the only victim in the world. You're good at making money. Finance is your thing. Why stress?" I looked at each one of them. All of them avoided my eyes, as if I was the one in the wrong for defending myself. "You didn't use my money to save anyone. You used it to buy a luxury toy for someone who's never taken responsibility for anything." Silence. I slid my phone back into my bag and turned away. I heard my mother's voice behind me. Soft, calculated. "Camila, blood is thicker than numbers. Family means sacrifice." I stopped, but didn't look back. I've sacrificed enough. From now on, I protect myself. I got in my car and shut the door. In the rearview mirror, Bella was posing with the car like it was a trophy, and my parents just stood there, still holding their wine. No one stepped forward. No one apologized. It was just me. An empty bank account. A broken dream. And a fury simmering like lava waiting to erupt. I left my parents' house in silence, but in my head, numbers and facts spun like a stock market crash. Part of me still couldn't believe they did it. Another part? The one that once canceled a Europe trip because Bella used my card to book her flight, knew this was just the final drop in a glass that had long since cracked. That evening, back at my rental in Inglewood, I sat in front of my laptop, frozen. A 3 p.m. email from the bank stared back at me. "Withdraw from savings account. 2074, $71,892.00 initiated. By Howard Walker." I nearly bit through my lip. I opened the family financial file I'd quietly managed for years. Ever since my dad retired early at 58, I'd been the one linking credit accounts to get them better limits. I'd even co-signed a loan when my mom needed emergency eye surgery. All because they said, "We trust you the most." I logged into the bank's online portal. Every credit account tied to my name, set up for the family, was now showing balances. Total debt? $86,000? 0 cents. I hadn't spent a cent. Every charge originated from their zip code. Without hesitation, I called the hotline. "I want to close every credit account under Camilla Walker. Effective immediately. We'll need to verify. I have my PIN account number and email authorization. Do it." It took nearly 40 minutes to revoke their access, freeze the cards, and send urgent flags to the partner banks. I even locked the Vanguard investment sub-account, where my mom had once accidentally transferred $3,000 from my retirement portfolio to hers. As soon as it was done, my phone lit up non-stop. Mom called. I ignored it. Dad called. Declined. Then Bella texted. "What the hell are you doing? My card got declined at the gas station. Mom's been crying for hours because of you. Please stop." I typed back. "Family doesn't exploit. I'm not an unlimited ATM. From now on, this stops." No emojis. No with love. 10 minutes later, Dad left a voicemail, his voice tight. "Camila, we need to talk. Your mom's panicking. They're threatening to shut down my accounts. We're family. You don't take legal action against your own." I stared at the screen. My mind flashed back to a dinner when I was 25. Bella had nearly lost a contract by sending the wrong file, and I'd quietly fixed it behind the scenes. No one remembered that. But they all remembered throwing her a party when she got a new iPad. I called Eveline, our company's legal counsel, and a friend from college. "Eve, I need a quick consult. I might be dealing with financial abuse from my own family." "How much?" "Close to 6 figures, maybe more." "Camilla, file the report first thing tomorrow, and lock down every remaining access point." The next morning, I was in her office by 9 a.m. Evelyn and I spent 3 hours combing through 4 years of transactions. The list was longer than I thought. Tiny but frequent charges: $120, 0 cents, at Sephora. $300, 0 cents for concert tickets. $85, 0 cents for streaming services I'd never signed up for. And she looked up. "You realize this doesn't end here, right?" I nodded. "I know, and this time, I'm not backing down." As I stepped out of her office, a new email arrived from the bank. "Accounts associated with Howard and Lorraine Walker are now under review for credit misuse. Please confirm identity." I smiled, not out of revenge, but because, for the first time in years, I finally felt in control of my life. That afternoon, Mom called on FaceTime. I answered. Her face appeared. Makeup smudged. "Camila, are you trying to destroy us? Your father just got denied medical financing. And I just got denied a shot at buying a home. Fair trade. I never thought you could be this cruel." "It's not cruelty, Mom, it's clarity." I ended the call. 3 days later, Bella posted a story, a photo of her dashboard flashing a payment overdue warning. I sighed and turned off my phone. I had more important things to do. Saturday night, I sat in my small apartment, hands wrapped around a cup of cold tea. Outside, snow fell softly, but inside my head, the questions roared. How much did they take? For how long? And how deep does this betrayal go? I texted Eliza, my best friend since high school, now a real estate agent, and the one who had seen every turning point in my life. Less than 10 minutes later, she was at my door, holding a bag of pastries and her laptop. "We're going to dig through everything," she said, setting the laptop on the table, eyes sharp like she was gearing up for a covert mission. Reese, my most trusted co-worker, joined via Zoom, bringing his background in financial fraud investigations from corporate cases. The three of us started with the auxiliary accounts I'd opened for the family when I was 24. Bryce traced data from an old banking app, While Eliza combed through transaction histories from digital wallets my mother had once convinced me to set up for easy transfers between mom and daughter, what slowly appeared on the screen was horrifying. Bryce looked up after nearly an hour of scanning. Camila, did you know that over the past 6 years, there have been more than 420 small transactions, each between $30 and $250, all from an auxiliary account under your name? I froze. No way, I review my main account monthly. They used a linked account you forgot you opened back in 2017. Transactions below a certain threshold went unnoticed. Eliza pulled up a second screen. And here, Bella's tuition from Glendale College. Over 19 grand. They used your email to confirm the payment. It clearly states, charge to card ending in 9743. Account holder, Camila Walker. I couldn't breathe. Hold on, Bryce said, his voice dropping. We just found a car loan for Bella. She's not the only name on it. The screen showed a Maserati loan contract. I stared at the bottom right corner. Camila Walker. Never signed anything. I whispered, my throat tight. Then that's a forged signature, Eliza said, gripping my shoulder. We need to bring in your lawyer. And it didn't stop there. Bryce opened a new set of data from tax records. You were falsely listed as the guarantor for a $40,000 refinance loan your parents took out on their current home. They used your social security number. Oh my God. I staggered back, dizzy. Every little favor. Every, can you help just this once, plea? They were pieces of a carefully layered scam I never thought would come from inside my own family. Eliza pulled out her phone, recording the screen. Each piece of evidence, every line item. I'm saving all of this. This is serious financial abuse. And I'm with you until the end. Bryce added. They didn't just steal your money, Camila. They stole your future. Bit by bit. Using trust they never deserved. I nodded and quietly opened a drawer. The home purchase application was still there, folded, full of hope, now a bitter reminder. Do you still have your original signature documents? Bryce asked. Yes. In the safe. Good. We'll need a handwriting expert. If we prove forgery, that's a felony. Eliza suddenly sat upright. Camelia, do you remember that secondary credit card your mom asked for back in 2019? She said it was to collect travel points for family vacations. I squinted. I canceled that card after 3 months. They requested a new one, had it mailed to your old address, then redirected it to themselves. And they used it to book 3 trips to Napa, Florida, and Hawaii. The screen showed receipts: Four Seasons Hotel, $2,276.00. JetBlue Airlines, $1,209.00, all under my name. I stood up, fists clenched, like someone had ripped away the last layer of protection. This isn't just about a car. This was a calculated long-term theft. Bryce nodded. They used your trust as a foundation, but now they're about to find out what consequences really look like. Eliza grabbed her phone. I'm calling Evelyn, we're filing the report first thing Monday. I looked out the window. Snow still falling, quiet and cold. But inside me, something had shifted. No more fear. No more silence. Monday, 9 a.m. I arrived at the Denver Police Department carrying a USB drive with over 200 pages of evidence. Bank statements, forged contracts, signature samples, tuition confirmations, and loan documents taken out in my name that I never signed. Eliza came with me, carrying printed copies and a letter from Evelyn, our lawyer. Every detail had been carefully prepared. This time, no one was going to dismiss it as just a family matter. The officer at the front desk led me to a private room. There, I met Detective Julie McCarthy. A woman in her 40s. Irish-American. With sharp eyes, but a calm demeanor. I hadn't even said a word when she spoke first. I've reviewed your file. This is one of the most complex cases of familial financial abuse we've seen this year. I sat down, my hands still shaking. My family didn't just take money. They took everything, my trust, my peace. And now they'll be held accountable. I handed her the USB and supporting documents. As she started reviewing them, Eliza added, Camila has evidence they used her name, signature, and social security number to borrow nearly $130,000 over the last 4 years, plus forged academic and tax records. Detective McCarthy nodded. We'll initiate a formal investigation. After today, this will be moved to the Economic Crimes Division. Within 72 hours, if the evidence holds, we'll request preliminary arrest warrants. I nodded. I'm ready to sign anything necessary to move forward. That afternoon, while prepping for a quarterly meeting at work, Garrett, my department head and direct supervisor, called me into his office. Camilla, I need to inform you of something. We received a job application today from someone named Bella Walker. I froze. What position? Assistant financial analyst. She claimed to have a finance degree from UCLA and 3 years of investment firm experience in California. That's all fake. Bella dropped out during her first year. She's never held a job longer than 3 months. Garrett nodded and handed me her application. Listed under references, my name, my corporate email, my direct office line. Every detail correct. I was suspicious, so I contacted UCLA. No record of any Bella Walker graduating. She's trying to leverage my credibility to legitimize herself. Would you like me to forward this to the police? Yes. I already filed a report this morning. We need it to sit on my kitchen counter. Garrett stood, placed a hand on my shoulder. I know this can't be easy, especially when it's your own family. But you have full support here. If you need to take a few days to deal with this personally, the company understands. I nodded, holding back tears. Thank you. But I'm not stepping away. I've already lost too much. This job, I built on my own. That evening, Bryce arrived at my apartment with another folder. Found this while digging through old account records. I opened it, statements from Bella's private middle school and college. Camila, your name was used as a guarantor for both. The payments have been auto-deducted from a dormant account under your name that you probably didn't know existed. I sank into the couch. So while I was living on ramen to afford health insurance, they were quietly using my money to send Bella to private schools? That's not all. Bryce opened his laptop and pointed to the screen. Lorraine and Howard. Your parents filed for a mortgage refinance 2 weeks ago. In the paperwork, they listed you as a co-owner and signed. I could barely process it. Does it have my signature? Yes, and it's forged. Again. That's criminal, document fraud, credit fraud, identity theft. Which is why I've already sent everything to Evelyn and the police. Tomorrow, they're issuing the first round of subpoenas. At that moment, my phone buzzed. Email from Detective McCarthy. We have sufficient evidence to request preliminary arrest warrants for Howard Walker, Lorraine Walker, and Bella Walker. Please report to the station by 9 a.m. tomorrow to complete additional documentation. I set the phone down and looked at Bryce. Do you think I'm being cruel? No. You're demanding justice. And if you don't stop them, who will be their next victim? The next morning, just as I stepped out of the Denver Police Department after signing off on the case documents, my phone began ringing non-stop. The first message was from my mother. Your father was just hospitalized. His blood pressure spiked. The police showing up made him collapse. Camila, this is your fault. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. Then another message flashed across the screen. If anything happens to Dad, we'll never forgive you, from Bella. You're tearing this family apart, from Mom, again. I shut off my screen. Not even 2 minutes later, the phone rang again. It was Bryce. Camila, don't panic. But you need to see this. He sent me a link. On Facebook, Bella had just posted a photo of my dad lying in an ICU bed, with the caption, "Pray for my father, a man betrayed by the very daughter he raised. Help us through this difficult time." GoFundMe link below. Family, above all. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The comments were flooded with sympathy. This is heartbreaking. How could a daughter do this to her own parents? I donated, hoping for healing. The GoFundMe had already raised nearly $12,000, 0 cents in just 4 hours. I felt like I'd been dropped into a staged play, where I'd been cast as the villain, even though I was the one who had been manipulated for years. Eliza called right after. I reported the campaign for fraud. Bryce sent screenshots of the financial abuse evidence to GoFundMe. They're reviewing it now. I scoffed. They'd gone as far as faking a hospital scene and performing public martyrdom. Are you going to respond? No. But if they push one step further, I'll speak. This time, with the truth. That afternoon, I received an email from a local reporter. Subject line: Camilla Walker responds to family accusations? Attached was an invitation to share your side of the story. I didn't reply. I had more important things to do. Justice doesn't live in the media. That evening, just as I was finishing up an email to Evelyn, the doorbell rang. Eliza showed up with a bottle of wine and an envelope in hand. Someone taped this to your door. I opened it. Inside was a handwritten, scribbled note. Unsigned. You're a disgrace to the family, who sues their own parents. No one will ever love someone like you. Don't be surprised when you're all alone. I didn't freeze from hurt, just from the clarity that they weren't going to stop. Then a text from Bryce came through. Camilla, they've started reaching out to your clients, spreading rumors that you're being investigated for fraud. I called Garrett immediately. He answered without delay. I'm aware. A trusted client informed us. Don't worry. I've already sent an official statement to all our partners, confirming you're not under investigation, and that the company stands firmly behind you. I took a deep breath. They're trying to twist the truth. And you're straightening it back out. Stay the course. The next morning, I walked into Evelyn's office carrying 3 new printouts. Threatening texts, social media screenshots, and the anonymous letter. She looked through them, then said calmly, "This is enough to escalate the charges to harassment, defamation, and damage to personal reputation." I nodded. Do it. And send it all to the investigators. Later that afternoon, while I was finalizing the monthly report, my mom called on video. I didn't answer. She called 3 times. Then she called Eliza, who picked up, speaker on. Where's Camilla? Does she think she's won? Tell her to look in the mirror. The whole city thinks she's an ungrateful daughter. Eliza's voice turned icy. You're wrong. People are starting to ask, what would drive a daughter to take her own family to court? And the answer is in every piece of evidence the court now holds. Silence. Eliza hung up. Camilla, next time they try to smear you, we're not just defending. We're going public. If the media wants a story, they'll get it, but with facts, not crocodile tears. I looked at her and smiled. They think I'm weak because I've been quiet. But they're about to find out. My silence was just the calm before the storm. Denver County Court, Friday, 10 a.m. I sat quietly in the front row of the courtroom, my victim impact statement, 6 pages long, clutched in my hands. Every word was mine, every period soaked in years of betrayal, manipulation, and the burden of responsibilities I should have never carried. My parents sat at the defendant's table. My mother, Lorraine, wore a light gray dress, her hair neatly styled, as if appearance could salvage reputation. My father, Howard, looked at least a decade older since I last saw him in the hospital. Between them, Bella sat with her head down, her once flawless makeup now stiff with tension. All 3 wore masks, but their eyes betrayed them. Fear, resentment, helplessness. Judge Reading entered the courtroom, voice clear and firm. We are now hearing criminal case number 2024, W500. W28. Camilla Walker versus Lorraine Walker, Howard Walker and Bella Walker, charged with financial fraud, identity theft, and breach of trust. The prosecutor summarized the indictment. Over 17 separate counts, with damages and losses totaling more than $298,000, 0 cents. The evidence had been reviewed thoroughly across 3 prior hearings. The court now invites the victim to make a statement before sentencing, the judge said, looking directly at me. I stood, each step toward the podium grounded with purpose. Your Honor, my name is Camilla Walker. I'm not here today because I want to destroy my family. I'm here because my family destroyed me first. I read my statement out loud. Every transaction they stole from me, every forged loan, every car I never drove and college I never attended but silently paid for. I spoke about the home I never got to buy, the sleepless nights, and the pain of being called an ungrateful daughter while I was the only one working, paying debts and trying to hold us together. I forgave them more times than I can count. But they didn't stop. And when I finally stood up for myself, they called it betrayal. If protecting myself is a crime, then so be it. I ask this court to hold them accountable, as it would any other citizen. I stepped down. The courtroom was silent. The judge reviewed the case file. After considering all evidence, testimony, and the victim's statement, the court issues the following sentence. My heart pounded. Howard Walker and Lorraine Walker are hereby sentenced to 5 years in the Colorado State Correctional Facility, with eligibility for parole after 3 years, and full restitution of $172,800, 0 cents to the victim. Behind me, I heard my mother sob. Bella Walker is sentenced to 3 years in state prison without bail for continued identity fraud after being previously warned, and is ordered to repay $63,500, 0 cents in misappropriated funds. Bella jumped to her feet, screaming, "This is all a misunderstanding. Camila made it all up, she's just getting revenge." The judge slammed the gavel. Order. This is not a performance hall. Their attorney stepped forward with one final plea. Your Honor, my clients respectfully request that Ms. Walker submit a letter asking for leniency. They are remorseful and hope she can show mercy. All eyes turned to me. I rose. I refuse. I won't write a letter on behalf of people who aren't sorry for what they did, only sorry they got caught. I turned toward my mother. You once told me, family is supposed to be the safest place. But you turned it into the first place I ever lost my trust. The judge nodded. Noted, no recommendation for leniency. This hearing is adjourned. Court officers approached and handcuffed each defendant. My father said nothing, his head bowed. My mother murmured something I couldn't hear. Bella hissed at me through clenched teeth. I'll never forget this, Camilla, you ruined everything. I didn't reply. You can't ruin what was already rotting from the inside out. When I stepped out of the courthouse, Eliza and Bryce were waiting. Eliza handed me a warm coffee. Bryce placed a hand on my shoulder. You did the right thing, and you're not alone anymore. I nodded, feeling something I hadn't in years. Lightness. Not because they were punished, but because I was finally free from the role they had forced on me. The burdened daughter. The silent fixer. For all 31 years of my life. 3 months after the trial, I stood in my new kitchen, sunlight streaming through the white glass window, casting a golden glow across the court's countertop like honey. This 2-story house on the outskirts of Aurora had been the wallpaper on my phone for 2 years. A dream I never dared to speak out loud. Now, it was real. It was mine. Fully. Eliza had just unpacked the last box. She waved toward Bryce, who was busy setting up the bookshelf in the living room. Okay, it's official. Camilla Walker is officially home. The 3 of us high-fived in the middle of the kitchen. I left. This time, no one's touching my bank account to book surprise vacations, right? Eliza raised both hands. Unless it's you taking me to Hawaii, on your own terms. We turned up the music, poured wine and had pizza straight from the box on the floor. Bryce opened his laptop and showed me a message from Garrett. Camilla, the board just approved your promotion. Welcome to your new role as Senior Risk Analyst. I stared at the message, feeling something warm swell inside me. Not pride in the title, but pride in the fact that I had proved my worth not by sacrificing myself, but by standing up for it. It took me almost a decade to build my career and just 6 weeks to nearly lose it all, I said, voice calm. But you didn't let them take it, Eliza replied. Because you had us, Bryce added. And because you remembered who you are. That afternoon, after they left, I wandered around my home. The backyard was big enough for a garden. The balcony upstairs, perfect for reading on clear days. Most importantly, there were no stolen memories here. I opened the mailbox. A handwritten, unsigned letter sat right on top. I opened it. Just a few rushed lines. Can you write a letter for leniency? Your parents are old, prison is harsher than you think. Bella, she's lost. If you won't do it for them, do it for yourself. We're still family. I folded the letter and dropped it straight into the trash as I walked inside. Family? Family doesn't forge your signature to steal your college fund. Family doesn't start fake charity campaigns with your father's hospital photo. Family doesn't treat your silence like a blank check. They were no longer my family. Just strangers with matching DNA. The next day, I accepted an invitation to speak at the State Financial Ethics Conference. My approved topic? When the scammer is your relative, financial abuse within families. Bryce and Eliza sat in the front row, clapping as I stepped on stage. Under the spotlight, I shared my story. Not as a tragedy, not as a spectacle. Just the truth. When I finished, the room was still for a beat. Then came the applause, long, thunderous. An older woman stood up, tears in her eyes. My daughter's going through the exact same thing. Thank you. Thank you for speaking out. As I stepped off the stage, I knew I had taken back my life and opened a door for others still trapped in the silence I once lived in. That night, I came home, turned on the porch light and poured myself a glass of red wine. My voicemail blinked, messages from their lawyers, trying to renegotiate restitution, pleading for compassion due to family circumstances. I deleted every one. As the screen went dark, I caught my reflection. Just a woman, 31 years old. No longer burdened, no longer apologizing, no longer broken. Just Camilla, free, strong, and no longer sorry for defending herself. I looked up at the Colorado sky. Stars glittering like quiet promises. This life? It was just beginning. And this time, no one could take it from me. Camilla's story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the deepest betrayal comes from those closest to us. But through that pain, she learned to stand up, claim justice, and rebuild her life on her own terms. In real life, not all relationships can be repaired, and setting boundaries is essential to protect your peace. Forgiveness is a choice, but staying silent in the face of abuse should never be an obligation. Camilla didn't lose her family. She let go of those who never truly loved her. What do you think about Camilla's journey and the choices she made? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to follow the channel for more moving, powerful stories about life and family.